And so it's up to you to make a choice for which resource of gift you want to use. Your ego or the Father, the voice for truth, the voice for love. So remember who you're sitting next to. Remember who it is you're coming home to. Remember who it is. That you seem or appear to be teaching. It's always your opportunity. You are confronted with your opportunity to care. And to make the gift, which is really a prayer, that God will answer for both of you, for all of you. Forget about being successful. Forget about what success is supposed to look like. Because if that's what you're preoccupied with, you will manipulate forms to try to get the right look. Paul could say with the, quote, cash flow at the moment, that being the presence of love doesn't work. But he's not about to stop, regardless of how it looks. And the look will change. You have implied that by the time you got the microphone, you were less confused than when you entered. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, just as I was sharing with Maren, what I thought that I'd done is created an environment for myself in my yoga studio that I was able to give the love out. But outside of that, and if anybody didn't come to it, then they didn't get it. And because it was outside of my comfort zone to give it outside of that room. Because they weren't coming to me. And so that was a
Well, you could say, I've come a long way to be with you.
Right.
And yet, the fact is, you are here with me, and there is no distance. But what are the limits of caring? What are the structures of caring? What are the appropriatenesses of caring? There is infinite as God. Caring can't be done on your terms. That's not caring, is it? The opportunity to love should be welcomed wherever it presents itself. And when you are not trying to keep a safe comfort zone, but caring endures, I guarantee you that where you are able to feel comfortable will increase. And the experience will be a freedom that you are not being able to experience when you set the structure or limits.
So I guess that just leaves me with one other question. I guess I have to, if it has to be an avocation rather than a vocation, then I guess anything would suffice in the meantime as far as how to make ends meet, rather than trying to change or make my avocation a vocation.
You can use this for a motto. Love is whatever works. So the answer to your question is yes. But which is your vocation and which is your avocation doesn't have to be as well defined and specific as you're wanting to conceive of them. In being open to what works, to what meets the need, the percentage between the two can shift easily. If you say, well, I'm going to make that my avocation, well, you've got it pretty well pegged. And you'll keep it in that definition. Will you just say, Father, thy will be done. Whatever works. And I will not try to guide my fulfillment into a pattern of my own creating. That's a means of joining and abandoning the position of author of things in your life. That is a means of breaking down this tiny, separate sense of identity. Without your definitions getting in the way, God has a free hand. Your good can approach you without having to cope with the definitions you've put in the way. Heck, if you're already bent over, go ahead and fall to your knees.
That's my intention.
Okay. Hands. Right over here.
What's getting in the way of my having a relationship?
It is. If who is on first and what is getting in the way of your relationship, well, I'm going to ask of everyone here who is willing to ask for Diane to have a meaningful relationship come to view in her life. Let us do what we were talking about, what I was talking about earlier. Let us care enough to wish fulfillment for her. As I said, what if you can't ask your own prayer? So we will ask it for you. Let us all just do it right now. Anyone who cares. Okay. So, if it happened this way, it really would be a miracle.
Here I am, Diane.
Maybe it just might be this simple. Thank you for expressing your need. And what I want everyone to be aware of, it's important to be aware of, is that wanting a good man in your life, or wanting a good woman, wanting a meaningful relationship, is not an intellectual need. It's not an intellectual want. Like I said earlier, do you see how much you all need each other? So, experience the fact that you need this, and don't apologize for it to yourself or anyone else. Don't feel guilty for being needy. Just abide with it. Now, everyone else has asked for you. I am going to ask you to ask something for someone else at least once a day. This is not a test, and it is not a matter of you're doing well enough to deserve to get what everyone else has asked for you. It is a matter of extending the gift, because that's what undoes the isolation. Whether it's isolation from someone to be a partner with, or isolation from God, or isolation from friends, and so on. Thank you for your question. Thank you for expressing a need.
Is there a relationship in front of me that I should be looking at differently?
Is there?
Well, I'm not sure.
All I'm going to say is be willing to look at it differently. As I've said before, you can't steer a car that's parked at the curb. The willingness to look at it differently will allow it to become clear what it can become.
Thank you. And I'm willing for it to, a miracle.
Good. Hands. Right here. Yeah.
Well, speaking of needs, I have one quick need and then I have a question. The quick need for my comfort is, will my daughter pass her state board exams? That's question one.
Your relief will come in asking for her to pass it with ease. Your peace will come in extending to her your caring, not concern. It is concern that is distressing to you, but in caring enough to ask that nothing successfully distract her from accomplishing this task well. That will bring you your peace. I'm not going to answer the question more specifically than that.
I'm happy with that. I'm trying to identify my need here. Recently, I've been going through this kind of nebulous state of being. I was out of sync, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And now it seems as though it's becoming clearer to me and easier to deal with because it's being externalized rather than internalized. And what I'm dealing with, I believe, has to do with my own self-regard, my own dignity, my own comfort. And it's not that perhaps I'm very graceful at this. I told my mother-in-law, whom I've known since I'm 15 and I'm 55, how I felt about the way she was treating my family and me. And I told her how she appeared to me and what I would like to see. Now, this is all well and good, and I'm okay with that. And I also did something that I'm not accustomed to doing, which was to just completely share myself with some of my coworkers. And many years ago, I consider myself to be one of the biggest secrets there was. And so it's like I prefer to call it a jelly jar because it's smaller to me and the insides are sweet. But I think my discomfort has been in holding the lid on the jelly jar. And now the jam is boiling steam is escaping, and so it's coming out. And I can see how this might, it's rather exciting because I can see how it might greatly help me, because I've been a cluster migraine headache sufferer ever since I can remember. And so now I'm getting kind of excited about all this. Now, the thing is, these things are new for me, and it's kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I guess what I hope and I try to have enough faith in is that where all of this is going will be good for me, and that, you know, whatever I do, I'll still respect myself in the morning. And so I guess I would like to hear something about it being okay to take care, here we are, take care of your needs, and that where I'm going will, of course, be fruitful and wonderful, and it's okay not to do it perfectly, and maybe to, I don't know, raise a few eyebrows and that sort of thing. I guess I'm afraid of what some people might think of me. Not all, I don't care. My comfort's too important to me now to waste too much time with that. But if that comes up, you know, my ego starts just screaming at me, screeching. And so sometimes that gets me a little nervous, but I kind of am just tired of it, you know. I just kind of, I don't care what you think. But I'd love to have your comments. Thank you, Raj.
Well, first of all, it's important for you to understand that the sweetness of the jelly is not of your own creating. And indeed, its sharing is long overdue. Now, some people have jars of shit. Which it wouldn't be wise for them to share. This sort of carefree abandon that you are allowing because the jelly is sweet is not a dangerous thing for you to be doing. Because you also need to express thoughtfulness and genuine kindness. And so your carefree abandon is being done in that kind of context, which makes it safe, even if the unexpectedness of it causes other people some distress or wears their muscles out from raising their eyebrows. You're not as confused as you think. But you're going to need to persist so that you can find this genuineness of you and its expression to be more comfortable and more natural. You're on the beam.
Thank you so much, Raj.
You are welcome. Hands? The gentleman in the back there? Yes.
During those times when guidance seems especially hard to come by, is it appropriate to use some sort of dowsing technique like pendulums or rods to approximate guidance in that sense?
Oh, absolutely. I was wondering at your use of the word to approximate guidance. Pendulums and dowsing rods are excellent ways to access your knowing with a capital K, because there's no way for the conscious mind to interfere. Yes, you can make the rods parallel and you can make that pendulum go in any direction you want. But your intent is to get beyond your ego. Your intent is to know the truth. So by all means, use whatever means you have available to you. I would encourage you to dedicate the use of the pendulum to only that which doesn't reflect your ego. Not to protect yourself, but so as to be clearly focused in what its use is for. You can as easily decide to tune in on the radio to see if there's a message in a song. Don't worry. The Holy Spirit has infinite means of connecting with you. And it makes it much easier if you're not saying, I will only listen to guidance that comes to me exactly as it comes to Paul Tuttle. Or only in this particular avenue. What's getting in the way is too much structure in your mind. And so rather than tell you how to bypass or deal with these structures, I am encouraging you to use other unstructured means and to do it with some carefree abandon, with a little bit of trust that God knows how to reach you. That's the end of the answer.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And the gentleman over here.
Thank you, Raj.
You are welcome.
I've been scattering my energies for quite a few number of years in terms of work. And
Who told you?
it's my feeling that